sincerely welcome everyone to Sri Radha Gopinath Temple for Sunday Festival. My very sincere gratitude to all of the assembled devotees. In Bhaktivedanta Hospital, one wonderful devotee, Stoka Krishna Prabhu, spoke this morning for Srimad Bhagavatam class over sound system. Although he is in a physical condition, being racked by the pangs of cancer, terminal disease, he expressed his joy and his gratitude for all of the blessings that he has received in life. The blessings of the association of devotees, the service of the Lord, the holy name of the Lord. And there is no power within this material creation that could ever take those gifts away from a sincere devotee. One who has that gratitude, who has that sense of love and devotion to Krishna, is actually a person who possesses real wealth and real health. And sometimes Krishna puts special souls like Stoka Krishna Prabhu in such a situation, not only for some inconceivable type of purification, but also to show us what we have in life, how much we take for granted, and what really is meaningful to a devotee. So today, for the pleasure of Stoka Krishna Prabhu, I'm going to speak about a very great devotee. We told some of these stories during our South Indian Yatra, but Stoka Krishna Prabhu, who is listening now, out of my love for you, I'm going to speak these stories again. In Srirangam, which was the capital of Sri Vaishnavism in all of South India, Radhanath-Swami-Media was giving a lecture. He was speaking on the Divya Prabandhans by Nam Alvar. Therein it glorifies the holy places. Srirangam is called Bhoga Mandapam, which means in Srirangam the Lord especially enjoys nice bhoga and distribution of his prasad to his devotees. Kanchipuram is known as Tyaga Mandapam. Varadraj Swami appeared through tapasya, and he especially finds great pleasure performing sacrifices for the welfare of his devotees. Tirupati is Pushpa Mandapam. He finds great pleasure there, being ornamented by wonderful flower garlands and tulsi leaves by his devotees. So while glorifying Sri Tirupati, Ramanujacharya, in great enthusiasm, he called out to the assembled devotees, "Is there anyone amongst you who is willing to leave this place and go to live in Tirupati and make a garden for Balaji and serve flowers to the Lord for the rest of your life?" There was complete silence. Because at that time, this is approximately 800 years ago, Tirupati was not so modern as today. It was a dense jungle on top of a high mountain with utterly no conveniences for physical comfort, surrounded by wild animals, very cold in the winters. And not only that, besides the terrible physical difficulties of living there and dangers, Ramanujacharya is living in Srirangam. Who wants to leave his lotus feet? He's giving his association, giving his classes every day. Thus, there was total silence. Then one devotee of the name Anantacharya raised his hand, and with great humility and submission, he called out, "Gurudev, if it is your desire that I go to Tirupati and remain there for the rest of my life growing flowers for Balaji, then I will go today with your blessings." Sripad Ramanujacharya was so satisfied with this disciple, he got up, embraced him, and expressed, "Of all men, you are the greatest because of your willingness to make sacrifice for the service of the Lord." He conquered the heart of his guru by his willingness to serve. Anantacharya walked many days from Srirangam. Then he climbed the 7 hills of Tirumala. And he and his wife excavated out of the jungle a beautiful garden where he grew tulsi and aromatic flowers for the pleasure of the Lord. Every day, he would pick those flowers and make garlands and personally offer them to the deity. He also felt that Balaji should have a nice tank or small lake next to his garden. So he dug a lake. He named the garden Ramanuja Garden, and he named the lake Ramanuja Lake, Pukur. After some time, he thought the lake should be deeper and wider. So with his spade, he was digging, putting the dirt in a bucket, carrying it to the end of the lake where he gave it to his wife. She put that bucket on her head, and she carried it some distance away, emptied it, and brought it back. Balaji, or Venkateshwar, wanted to help his devotee. Balaji wanted to serve his devotee. And it was difficult for Balaji to see this husband and wife working so hard only for his pleasure. So Balaji assumed the form of a brahmachari boy of the Brahmin caste. He approached Anantacharya. That, please, dear sir, I am young and I am very fit. Let me help you to dig this lake. Anantacharya said, no possibility of this. You are young, your body is very fragile. You should enjoy life. You should play, chant the names of the Lord and be happy. This hard work is for someone like me. The boy was insisting, please, please allow me to help. Anantacharya said, this is my service. This is the order my Guru Maharaj has given me, and it's my service to the Lord. I have nothing else in life. It's my only wealth, it's my only health, it's my only nourishment. You can take anything away, but you cannot take away my service. If you want to serve the Lord, go anywhere else, do anything else, but leave me alone. That is final. So Venkateshwar was very much disappointed. He tried again. It was really causing pain to his heart, because Anantacharya's wife, although she was so happy doing her service, she was pregnant, carrying a child. So the boy approached secretly his wife and said, please let me help you to carry these buckets. Wife said, no possibility. You heard what my husband already said to you. What will he do if he finds out? He said, he'll never find out. There's no way he'll find out. What you should do is you should carry the dirt on your head until he can't see anymore. Then I'll take it. I'll carry it the rest of the way and bring it back, and then you could carry the empty bucket back for Anantacharya. And he'll never know. You have to let me do this. How could you carry all this dirt when you're carrying a baby within your womb? It's not right. He spoke so charmingly. She agreed. Anantacharya, with a spade, dug in the ground, filled up the bucket, carried it a distance, gave it to his wife. As he was digging again, she was emptying it in a distant place. But halfway, Krishna took the bucket, went the distance, emptied it, and brought it back. After some time, Anantacharya was suspicious. He inquired from his wife, how is this? It's taking you half the time to bring the bucket than all the days previously. How are you doing it like this? She said, my dear husband, you know that brahmachari? He convinced me to do. He's taking. He became so upset. He picked up his spade just to scare this brahmachari and chased after him. And Lord Narayan, in the disguise of a brahmachari, ran away. He was chasing, and Anantacharya was right behind him. Stop, stop, I will punish you. And the little boy climbed up a tree, and he called down to Anantacharya, I have this beautiful golden dhoti and nice jeweled earrings. I'll give them to you if you just don't punish me and let me go. Anantacharya was thinking, I will tell him like this, and then he'll come down, and then I will punish him. He said, yes, you come down. I will not punish you. So the little Brahmin boy came down, and as soon as he touched the ground, Anantacharya started running toward him, and the brahmachari ran away. And Anantacharya, just to scare him, threw his spade off to the side of where the boy was, just so that the boy would see it and become afraid. But inconceivably, the boy ran in such a zigzag way that he ran right where the spade was falling, and it scratched his chin, making him bleed. Then the boy ran to the temple, Balaji's temple, and ran around the temple to his left side. Usually you do to your right side, but Krishna in his own temple, there's no rules and regulations for him. And then he ran inside the temple and closed the doors and locked it from inside. This took place in the afternoon. Evening came about. The pujari came. Anantacharya said, there's a small boy that's on the altar hiding. You better open it immediately. So with great difficulty, they opened the door. And there was only the deity of Balaji with blood on his chin. Then Anantacharya understood that little boy was Balaji himself coming to do seva for his devotee. Coming to give comforts to his devotee. So he started crying. My whole life is to give pleasure to the Lord, and I have made the Lord bleed. He was begging forgiveness from the Lord. Balaji spoke to him. He said, I am so very pleased with you. So pleased with your deep attachment to serving me and pleasing me. So deeply pleased by your desire to carry out the order of your Gurudev. He said, I want to give you my earrings and my cloth as a gift. Meanwhile, Anantacharya, seeing the blood on the Lord's chin, he made a concoction of herbs and camphor as a medicinal balm and applied it to the Lord's chin. And the Lord spoke that in honor of Anantacharya, for all time to come, this camphor and herbs should be put on my chin, for the whole world will never forget the unique devotional service of my devotee. To this day we find Balaji, not only does he have a special sacred mixture between his eyes and his forehead, but also his chin. And once a year there's a festival where they take the deity out of the temple, the Utsav Murti, and they circumambulate the temple left side in honor of the Leela of the Lord running away from his devotee in transcendental love. Ramanujacharya was so pleased with Anantacharya that he decided to take the long journey by foot with his disciples to Tirupati to see his devotee. On the way, as they were approaching Tirumala, there was a simple Sudra who was drawing water from a well. Ramanujacharya asked, which is the way to Tirupati? The Sudra didn't say a word. Simply with the motion of his hand, he pointed the direction. Ramanujacharya then offered his prostrated obeisances in full dandavat to the Shudra. This really surprised not only the Shudra, but all of Ramanujacharya's disciples. They all inquired from him, why are you repeatedly bowing down to this simple man drawing water from the well. Ramanujacharya, with such sincere humility in his heart, he replied that he has shown me the way to Vaikuntha, the spiritual world. Therefore, he is my spiritual master. When he came to Tirupati, he refused to climb the mountain. He remained on the bottom, speaking of the glories of Lord Vishnu. After some days, Anantacharya came down. He said, Gurudev, please come up for the darshan of Balaji and see the wonderful garden that we have made for him. Sripad Ramanujacharya replied, I am very sinful and I am very fallen. I cannot put my feet on that sacred mountain. It is holy. It is Vaikuntha Loka. It is not different than Anantashesha. How can a fallen soul like me walk upon such a sacred object? Following in the footsteps of great acharyas of the past, I will remain on the bottom and offer my love and prayers to the Lord on the top of the hill. Anantacharya replied, Gurudev, if you don't go up that mountain because you are so fallen, then no one will ever go up that mountain again. I cannot go back up. If you are so fallen that you cannot step on, how can I step on? Not only now, but all generations in the future. No one will be there to serve Balaji unless you set the example. Ramanujacharya thought, for the service of Balaji, I will go. But it is said by some that he climbed up on his knees as to not touch with his feet. Now today, to go to the top of the mountain, 7 mountains you have to climb. It is 3,800 steps. But in those days there were no such steps. It's just walking or crawling through the jungles to the top. While he was there, he didn't want to in any way defile the sanctity of the place. So he fasted, so that he wouldn't have to respond to nature's calls in such a holy place. And after one day, when he was about to leave, actually something happened when he just arrived. After a long, arduous climb up this mountain, when he finally reached the top, one of his most beloved spiritual masters, Sri Shailapurna, came to greet him with garlands and prasad. Now Sri Shailapurna was disciple of Yamunacharya. He was also Ramanujacharya's mother's brother, his uncle. And it was he that gave Ramanuja the name Ramanuja, which is the name of Lakshman, the brother of Ram. So from a material point of view, of etiquette, he was maternal uncle, and from a spiritual point of view, he was a spiritual master. Ramanujacharya was feeling very much embarrassed and ashamed that, Gurudev, you have taken so much trouble to come all this way just to welcome me? Why? Why have you done this? Why didn't you send a junior neophyte devotee to greet me and offer me this garland and prasad? Sri Shailapurna, with very great sincerity, he replied to Ramanujacharya. He said, I know that it is the proper etiquette for me to have sent a junior devotee to come and greet you on my behalf. But I looked and I searched in all the four directions of Tirumala, and I could not find a single person who is junior to myself. I could not find a single person who is more neophyte in devotional service than me. Therefore, I had no alternative but to come to deliver this prasad personally. The devotees were struck with wonder to see the humility of Sri Shailapurna. After one day, Ramanujacharya was about to leave, but Sri Shailapurna told him, according to the Shastras, you're supposed to stay here 3 days. So he stayed 3 days, fasting, not even responding to nature's calls. And after 3 days, Ramanujacharya approached Balaji and said, please, with your permission, let me go down to the bottom of the hill. And Balaji spoke to him. He said, I have given you my southern home in Srirangam. That is where you will reside. And I bless you this. Whoever you want to send back home, back to Godhead in Vaikuntha, that person I will accept. Ramanujacharya every day spent his day with Anantacharya doing seva for the deities, and how his heart was swelling with pride and joy to see the wonderful devotional service Anantacharya was performing. He came down the hill, and there Sri Shailapurna instructed him in Ramayana for 1 full year. Something wonderful. Ramanujacharya had such exalted disciples. He was the Acharya of the whole Sampradaya. So deeply learned, pure, and powerful in his spiritual qualities that the best people of society were surrendering their lives to him. And yet, he was sitting at the feet of a senior Vaishnava, Sri Shailapurna, for 1 year, submissively and humbly learning Ramayana in 24 different ways. When it was time for him to leave, Anantacharya was weeping. Gurudev, I don't know if I'll ever see you again in my life. Srirangam is very far away. And now that I have the responsibility of this garden, I cannot go anywhere. How will I survive in separation? He asked Ramanujacharya his permission if he could make a deity of his guru and worship that guru as the physical presence. Ramanujacharya did not say anything. The deity was made, and Sripad Ramanujacharya embraced the deity, and in doing so, invested his personal presence within that form. And to this day, to the left side of Balaji, in Sri Tirupati, is that original first deity of Ramanujacharya ever to be made, in honor of the loving devotional service of Anantacharya. One day he was picking tulsi leaves in his garden to make a garland for the Lord. As he was plucking the tulsi leaves, a venomous cobra struck him, penetrated his skin, and injecting venom within the body of Anantacharya. But Anantacharya didn't think anything of it. He just went on with his service of picking the tulsi leaves. But the disciples saw what happened. The disciples of Anantacharya were very much concerned. They pleaded with them, Guru, that please take medical treatment. This is a cobra. You may die. The poison is in your blood. Please take some medical treatment. But he ignored them. He was so absorbed in his service, he didn't care anything for medical treatment. So the disciples, not knowing what to do, in tremendous anxieties, they ran to Balaji and told him exactly what happened. After some time, Anantacharya had completed a beautiful full tulsi garland and came to offer it personally to Sri Venkateshwar. And the deity spoke to him. He said, my dear devotee, you have been struck by a venomous cobra. Are you not going to do anything to treat yourself? Anantacharya, with tears of humility in his eyes, replied, my dear Lord, which poisonous snake are you talking about? There is a vicious, poisonous cobra in my heart that has injected the poison of false pride, ego, and greed. And there's another little cobra that has bit my body. The cobra that bit my body, his poison, all it could do is kill this body. It cannot touch my soul. But that venomous snake in my heart, his poison can destroy my very soul. Which is a priority to treat first. And my Lord, you are the only doctor that can cure me of the poison of the serpent of false ego. Therefore, I am taking shelter of you through my devotional service. The Lord, hearing Anantacharya, spoke with great emotion. He said, my dear devotee, I'm very much attached to your living here with me. What if you die of this poison? What about me? Don't you care about me, what I want? Anantacharya, he said, my Lord, I am a serpent emanating so much poison. Due to ego and greed. If the poison of this little serpent that has bitten me is stronger than the serpent of ego in my heart, then I will die. And I will take my bath in the Braj River, and then I will serve you in Vaikuntha, in your original form as Vaikuntha-nath. And if the serpent that has been bitten is more powerful than the serpent that just bit me, then it cannot kill me. I will live. I will take my bath in Swami Pushkarini, and I will carry on my service of bringing tulsi garlands and flowers to you every day throughout my life. In either case, I will always be in your service. I want nothing else. In life or in death, please, my Lord, just accept me as your humble servant. The Lord was so pleased with the devotional attitude of Anantacharya. And by the Lord's grace, he did not die. He carried on as a simple gardener, bringing the fruits of his work as offerings to the Lord. Anantacharya decided to take some of his disciples on a trip to a southernmost part of India on a pilgrimage to perform some duties. So they walked down from Tirumala Hill, walked a long distance for several days. On the banks of a river, they stopped because they were very hungry for prasad. They had prasad of Balaji that they had brought from Tirupati. When they opened the container of prasad, they saw so many ants swarming on top of the prasad. When Anantacharya saw that, he said, "Pack up the prasad again. We're returning home." They did not know what's happening. They walked all the way back, then climbed all the 7 hills of Tirumala. They came to the top. Anantacharya, he said, "Please give me the packages of prasadam." And he left them all there on the top of the hill. He said, "Now let us go on our pilgrimage to South India." They were bewildered. After some walking, they asked, "Why? We walked many days, then we walked all the way back, and now we're going again. We don't understand what you're doing, Gurudev." And he said, "According to the prayers of the great souls, great devotees, they are praying for the opportunity to have some service in the holy place of Tirupati. They are praying even for the birth of an animal or an insect or any species where they can have the darshan in the service of the Lord. So it is my opinion that all of those ants are great rishis who, in answer to their prayers, were born and raised in Tirupati. And what is our position to take them away from that holy place? Therefore, I brought them back with great respect, and now we can go on our trip." Lord Chaitanya prayed, "Amanina mana dena." What is the quality of a real Vaishnava? One who offers all respects to all living beings and does not expect respect for oneself. That is a devotee by Krishna's calculation. One day, Balaji, the deity in the temple, told Pujari, "Please bring Anantacharya immediately to see me." So the Pujaris ran to where Anantacharya was doing his seva of making garlands for the Lord out of the tulsi leaves that he had just collected. And they said, "Balaji spoke to us. He wants to see you immediately. Please come now." He continued making his garland for several hours. When the garland was complete, he returned to the temple to offer it to Balaji. Balaji asked, years ago. I specifically called for you immediately. And it's taken you hours to come. I am the supreme Lord of the universe. What right do you have to disobey my order? Anantacharya spoke from his heart. He said, you ordered me to come immediately. But my Guru Maharaj, Sri Ramanujacharya, he ordered me to make this garland for you every day. And if I would have come, I would not have been able to make this garland for you today. The order of my spiritual master is the priority of my life. I am only here because of his order. You are only accepting my services because of his grace. Therefore, if anything, including your own order, is an obstruction to carrying out the order of my spiritual master, I must give priority to serving the words of Sri Gurudev. Balaji then said that I have the power to send you away from this place if you don't follow my instruction. And Anantacharya replied that I am only here by the grace of my Gurudev. I can only receive your mercy through the grace of my Gurudev. And besides that, my Lord, your home is Vaikuntha. You came here from Vaikuntha to have leelas with Padmavati and Sri Devi. Similarly, my home was Sri Rangam, but I came here from Sri Rangam. So this place is neither your home or my home. This is the home of Bhuvarahadev. We are both guests. Therefore, neither of us has any legal right to tell the other to leave. And Balaji was very happy to hear the sweet words of loving exchange from his devotee. After Sripad Ramanujacharya disappeared from this world, he was 125 years old when he left. At that time, Ramanujacharya personally installed the son of Kuresh, Parasarabhatir, as the successor Acharya of the whole Sri Sampradaya. So in Sri Rangam, one very sincere devotee asked Parasarabhatir, what are the symptoms of a true Vaishnav? Parasarabhatir replied that if you really want to know the answer to that question, you should go to Tirumala and ask Anantacharya. He will give you the perfect answer.